Hmm.
So, could you give me a little bit of background on the Chicago Robotics Group? Like I said, I knew Royce several years ago, and I'm on the mailing list.
Hmm.
And when you had competition, probably 3 or 4 years ago, you made some electronic medals for the competitions, like RoboGuns was doing at the time. And I remember being a sponsor and donating some money for that. But I haven't had any direct engagement with the group for a long time. So anything you could share would be really interesting for me and for my readers.
Well, yeah, sure. Uh, in general, Chibots was founded somewhere around 2000. The idea that they had then and we continue to have now is to actually be able to share our knowledge and expertise with other people that are interested in getting into robotics. Our basic mission is to involve people and get them excited about an engineering field. And usually this applies a lot to younger folks, maybe people in high school and younger, even grade
Hmm.
school. We've tried to keep up the competitions. They in maybe 2008, 2009, they dropped from two competitions a year to just one, the Chiboticus.
Hmm.
However, also in 2008 or 2009, I can't recall, we added a new competition called Robo Magellan,
Hmm.
and the competition that we've been having ever since. We had it last year. Uh, it was on July 24th. Unfortunately, that was a very bad day for us because that was the same day that we had a lot of flooding in the area. Our participation of 7 competitors went down to 3. And, well, I guess they all got a prize except first, second, and third. This year it's going to be on August the 6th.
Hmm.
It's going to be at a college campus. The name of the college is Moraine Valley.
Hmm.
And it's maybe from my location, it's, I don't know, maybe 35 to 40 minutes. It's not very far. Uh, right now, we're trying to bring back more Chiboticas. We're trying to have at least 3 Chiboticas, one large one in October and 2 smaller ones at our meetings in February and June.
Hmm.
And the objective of the smaller competitions are to get schools and kids, individuals, intermediate to beginners involved in building robots and coming over and simply competing against others. This is not a full-scale competition where you win prizes or anything. It's more for fun, but we're
Hmm.
hoping to get people excited about all of this. Um, Basically, that's all I could tell you about Chibots.
Okay.
We're too involved in too many things. Interestingly enough, this year a lot of schools have invited us to their science nights.
Hmm.
So we've had about 4 invitations so far. Unfortunately, we couldn't make the first one because one, it was on Wednesday, and it seems that that's a busy day for a lot of people.
Sure.
And since it was also a weekday, people work and they just want to go home and watch American Idol or whatever. So, unfortunately, no one was able to attend that first one, but the other 2 or 3 science nights, we've been able to be there.
Hmm.
We also had an expo at the the Illinois Institute of Technology.
Okay.
It's their Engineers Week, and they have it every year. In fact, this expo they've been having for I think 26 years now,
Hmm.
so it's not something new. And we've been invited for a few years. Terry Jackson, one of the senior members, uh, I believe, taught there.
Hmm.
I'm not sure exactly what dates. He talked about giving courses back in the 80s, but I can't be sure if it was at that school or somewhere else.
Sure.
But anyway, he got us invited, and we were there too. This year, right now, we're preparing for another expo called Embedded Systems Conference, which is going to be held at a nearby village called Rosemont on
Hmm.
June 6th, 7th, and 8th. The expo itself is going to be on the 7th and 8th, so we hope to be there. I will probably be asking for a day off from work because unfortunately I can't be there both days, but at least
Hmm.
one I'll be there. Um, Other expos that we've been invited to is the usual iHobby in October. Then last year we were also invited to another expo that's called the Toy and Game Fair,
Hmm.
which is held downtown Chicago at Navy Pier. So we were there too.
Hmm.
So basically, that's our involvement with the community. Um, and well, we're hoping to see what other projects come along.
Hmm. So you're seeing a lot of interest and a lot of engagement with robotics. People are really motivated by it now.
Well, I believe that they're beginning to be more conscious of of the different fields that embodies robotics and how educational they can be, especially for younger
Okay.
kids.
Hmm.
At one of the science nights that my wife and I were there with Terry,
Hmm.
I was actually quite surprised that there were kids, and we're talking about maybe 10, 11, 12-year-olds
Hmm.
that would walk up and start explaining to me how the light sensors work and everything. So, gee, when I was their age, I mean, I was lucky if I knew how to turn on a wall switch.
Sure.
Uh,
Sure.
that was the extent of the technology back then. But now it seems that educators, and hopefully I can include parents there, are a little bit more aware that that robotics can be used as a very efficient uh, educational tool
Hmm.
and as a motivational tool to get their kids excited about some sort of engineering field.
Yeah, no, when I was like 10, 12 years old, I was building shortwave radios out of parts that I would scavenge from old television sets and things like that. And there weren't resources, and I was really thirsting for something, somebody that I could talk to, somebody that I could exchange information with. So your group has really become that kind of resource for some of these schools and science fairs and that to show the teachers and the students, especially the young students, what is possible. And so it tweaks their imagination, which is fantastic. It's really giving back to the community.
Hmm. Yes, I guess that's that's what we're about. Trying to give back to the community.
Hmm.
We're not really an organized group. We're not one of those nonprofit organizations that's been duly constituted or anything. We're just a group of people who are trying to, to share something and to have
Right.
fun doing it, of course.
Well, it
Because
comes from the heart, right?
yes, yes, definitely.
Absolutely.
Robotics excites us, and well, I guess we just want to show other people how excited it could be, and also how accessible it is. Because a lot of people think robotics and they imagine C-3PO or something, and
Right.
they imagine thousands of dollars. Oh God, I can't I afford to have my kid involved in robotics. It's going to cost me $1,000 or
Hmm.
$2,000 to get into it. And of course, there are robots that cost 1,000 to 5,000.
Right.
It's easy enough to find them. But there's also a lot of robots that are now costing $20, $30, $40
Hmm.
to put together. And although I guess they're not going to be an R2D2 or anything like that, but they're definitely a good starting point on a low budget that will teach you stuff that you can use later on to build more sophisticated robots.
Yeah, you can learn a lot and really get a start with something as simple as a beam robot, a simple photo sensor and a little mechanism, springs or cell phone vibrator motor. And you can start to understand the principles behind it, and then that'll just feed your interest. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
I totally agree.
Yeah. Now, you talked about a lot of the events. I think one of them is held in conjunction with Hobbyco, the big convention there. Or am I mistaken?
Well, Hobby Code does not ring a bell.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
iHobby
Oh,
is
iHobby. Yeah, that's
iHobby.
sorry. iHobby. Yeah.
Yeah, iHobby, as far as I understand, is some sort of nonprofit organization that somehow is linked to some sort of association that regulates or somehow manages a whole bunch of hobbies companies.
Hmm.
I'm not making much sense on that because
Okay.
I don't understand it myself.
Sure.
But they've been holding this iHobby Expo for something like 25, 26 years too.
Right.
And they sell a whole bunch of stuff, and it's just so incredibly exciting to just go there and see the level of technologies that these so-called toys have reached.
Mhm.
Uh, and I'm basically referring to remote control devices like airplanes and cars and
Oh
helicopters,
yeah. Yeah.
trains, all that stuff. And you can go there and you could easily spend $1,000 buying just the chassis for a remote control car.
Right. Right.
See, and these things are no longer the type of little toys that you find at Walmart. These are very sophisticated, and well-engineered and robust platforms that people can actually put even more expensive electronics on
Right.
them and, well, enjoy their hobby of, remote control cars.
Sure.
One of the things that this iHobby people wanted was to get people involved in robotics. So what they did is that they looked for a group that to represent that area, and that's, I guess, when they found us. And in fact, I believe that Royce was the one that initially negotiated with them to
Mm-hmm.
be able to have our booth there. And as far as I can tell, because these are stories are handed down from generation to generation of Chibots members. We started out with a little 10 by 10 booth, and right now we have something like 20 by 40. So it's a huge space. In fact, last year, what I tried to do was to have two separate parts, to have the competition and to have something that I would call the Robots Pavilion, where we invited a whole bunch of people to come to our booth and actually, display their robots. Like, for instance, Steve Hasenplug was there with his monster chess.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah,
absolutely fantastic.
And the winner straight up for 2 years of the SRS Robo Magellan competition was there too.
Mm-hmm.
And another fellow, maybe you've heard of him, Mike Davey.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay. He was there too with his Nickelmatic and with another device that he put together called the Turing Machine.
Right.
An incredible device.
Yeah.
Not only sophisticated in technology, but also a beautiful piece of art.
Mm-hmm.
And Triton College, a nearby community college, was also there displaying their robot that participated in the first robotics competition.
Mm-hmm.
So we had all these people come in, and it was fantastic because they really put on a very good show.
Mm-hmm.
So we're hoping to repeat that again, and with all the space that we have, it's very easy to invite these people, and well, hopefully they will accept because that's what the iHobby people want, and that's what we would also like to share.
Absolutely. No, it's a great event because I know that because of your location, you draw from a much broader area throughout the Midwest, and people like the group that Michael Overstreet is associated with down in Kansas City. They drive up just to compete in that event every year. So you've got a much broader reach than just the city of Chicago and its immediate suburbs.
Yes, in fact, Mike Overstreet was with us at iHobby too. We invited him.
Yeah.
He came and he demonstrated his humanoid robot, and it was a fantastic show.
Sure.
The only thing that was not up to my satisfaction was the participation in the competitions. Participation went way down,
Mm-hmm.
and I really don't know why it was down as compared to other years. The good news is that a university in Mexico, in the city of Mexico called the UNAM, they heard about us, and one of the faculty contacted me to see if it was possible for them to participate.
Mm-hmm.
So we put together a small robotics team to represent the university, and they came over to Chicago and participated in the competitions.
Mm-hmm.
They started out very small because the actual robotics group was basically their family, because it was the father with a faculty member and his son and his daughter, which were both in the same university but in different colleges.
Mm-hmm.
But these 4 or 5 people that competed, they took away almost all the prizes because they were the only ones competing. And in some cases, they took first, second, and third prizes.
Sure. Well, that happened at Robo Games last weekend also. There were some of the competitions that had large numbers of competitors, like the skill and number of competitors for humanoids has grown tremendously. But then some of the other competitions, like the autonomous robot humanoid competitions, or some of the more niche competitions, it'd be like 1 or 2 players. And of course they got medals because they were the only ones competing. But it takes time. I remember when Mech Warfare first started at Robo Games, like, 3 years ago, I guess. The first time, we weren't even sure that it would work at all. It was just a concept and threw it out there, and there were just a few players. Mm-hmm. And then last year, there were about 10 or so, and this year we had close to 30 competitors. So, it takes time. You have to just keep at it, and do some promotion and get people interested, and they see that other people are doing it and they're having fun and they're making progress, and then it draws other people in. So,
yes, one of the things that I would like is more promotion. I would like to be able to promote our competitions a little bit more because people just don't know about them, and it's hard for me to actually get the word out. I tried contacting the usual, TV stations, for example, and I wasn't very successful with that. In fact, last year, interestingly enough, the only media that actually got back to me was the Spanish radio station. So I actually went down to the radio station and we did an interview in Spanish.
Well, that's fine.
Yeah, to promote the iHobby Expo and our group and robotics.
Sure. Well, at Robo Games, of course, the U.S. always gets Robo Games. This year, the U.S. always gets the largest number of medals because it's based in the U.S., but number 2 in terms of total medals across the whole competition was Mexico, and number 3 was Japan. So, any exposure that you can get, draw people in and get anybody involved, it's all to the good.
Yeah. In fact, strangely enough, that university, the UNAM that I mentioned, they actually have a campus downtown Chicago.
Sure.
So I took advantage of that, and I contacted them to see whether they wanted to come and see their colleagues from Mexico compete, and they got all excited about it. But the thing is that it was hard for me to get, to synchronize them, and they didn't show. We were not able to schedule, something that everyone agreed on. But I kind of hope they're willing to come back this year, because what this faculty member told me is that was just the start. They wanted to have more members. In fact, he was estimating maybe 10 members.
Sure.
And he wanted more people to come to the competition this year. So I guess as soon as summer starts getting close, I'll contact him to see whether he's still interested in coming.
Right.
In a way, I hope he is, because obviously the more competition we have, the more participants, the better. But at the same time, we definitely need more participants on our side, because we just can't have one group come in and sweep all the prizes. They took away everything.
Sure.
So, sure. I even got a second prize for my mini sumo, and it's not even finished. So that was quite incredible. I usually always come in last, because what's not finished is the programming. I don't detect other robots. I just sort of, bounce back and forth inside the ring. And I've been meaning to finish up that program, but I just haven't been able to get to it. So obviously, any other robot that's programmed correctly finds my robot and just pushes him out. And last year, it turns out I actually beat someone else.
Oh, that's great.